Thanks you so much for being here, and truly, happy Thanksgiving. I'm really, truly grateful for each and every one of you. You're a great blessing in my life. I have many blessings in my life. I'm blessed that way. Thank you, God. But you guys are definitely among the blessings, so thank you so much. I hope you each have a marvelous holiday. Amazingly, we've been doing this Alice's Restaurant thing here since 2008, making this the, counts on his fingers, 17th year. Wow. That's old enough to drive or fly a helicopter. A bit of sad news for us. Alice Brock, the original Alice in this song, has passed away this year. Just last week on a Thursday, but she didn't make it to this Thursday. She was born in 1941 and is an amazing woman with a really cool story. There's a memorial to her on the Group W wall behind me. How appropriate is that, huh? And a really great article about her is on our website if you'd like to read more about Alice. So here's to you, Alice. You will be missed. Okay, so each year our presentation here is just a little bit different. This time we're going to go back to 1967 lyrics and music. A couple quick notes before we get started. Yes, this is a true story. Yes, there was a movie, and yes, the real people in the song played themselves in that movie. Even Obi. Pretty neat, huh? Even Alice. There's a really fun 18-minute long video on our YouTube channel of clips from the movie kind of synchronized and matched into the song. It's fun to watch. On the 50th anniversary tour of Alice's Restaurant, Arlo mentioned that he was partly inspired to write this song in the manner of Lord Buckley and Bill Cosby. Arlo said the melody and the finger picking is essentially an African six-string style he picked up from folk music players at the Gaslight Theater on McDougal Street in New York growing up. And I just happen to have it on good authority, the neighborhood he grew up in New York. Someone else in our audience also grew up really close to right there. That's pretty nifty, huh? Arlo also had additional inspirations from his close friend, Pete Seeger. Arlo and Pete made Midnight Special together, which I'm sure you remember from everything, but I remember from the Twilight Zone movie. That was great. Pete was in turn greatly inspired by Woody Guthrie, Arlo's daddy. His songs included Where Have All the Flowers Gone? And Turn, 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 and, well, many more. Now, you think after 50 years, Arlo would have the story memorized line for line, but he said that though, of course, he remembers the events as they actually happened, I mean, he was there after all, he would have to kind of learn the song all over before performing on tour, because timing and delivery is so important. Just some fun stuff I thought you might like to know. So here we go. Set your stopwatch for 18.5 minutes, and... This song is called Alice's Restaurant, and it's about Alice and the restaurant. But Alice's Restaurant is not the name of the restaurant. That's just the name of the song. That's why Arlo called the song Alice's Restaurant. You can get anything you want at Alice's Restaurant. You can get anything you want at Alice's Restaurant. Walk right in, it's around the back, just a half a mile from the railroad track. You can get anything you want at Alice's Restaurant. Now, it all started 2 Thanksgivings ago, was on 2 years ago on Thanksgiving when my friend and I went up to visit Alice at the restaurant. But Alice doesn't live in the restaurant. She lives in the church nearby the restaurant in the bell tower with her husband Ray and Fasha the dog. And living in the bell tower like that, they got a lot of room downstairs where the pews used to be in. And having all that room, seeing as how they took out all the pews, they decided that they didn't have to take out their garbage for a long time. And we got up there, we found all the garbage in there, and we decided it'd be a friendly gesture for us to take the garbage down to the city dump. So we took the half a ton of garbage, put it in the back of a red VW microbus, took shovels and rakes and implements of destruction, and headed on toward the city dump. Well, we got there, and there was a big sign and a chain across the dump saying, "Closed on Thanksgiving." Now, we had never heard of a dump closed on Thanksgiving before, and with tears in our eyes, we drove off into the sunset, looking for another place to put the garbage. We didn't find one till we came to the side road, and off the side of the side road there was another 15-foot cliff, and at the bottom of the cliff there was another pile of garbage, and we decided that one big pile is better than two little piles, and rather than bring that one up, we decided to throw ours down. That's what we did. Drove back to the church, had a Thanksgiving dinner that couldn't be beat, went to sleep, and didn't get up until the next morning when we got a phone call from Officer Obey. He said, "Kid, we found your name on an envelope at the bottom of about a half a ton of garbage, and just want to know if you had any information about it." I said, "Yes, sir, Officer Obey. I cannot tell a lie. I put that envelope under that garbage." After speaking to him for about 45 minutes on the telephone, we finally arrived at the truth of the matter and said we had to go down and pick up the garbage, and we also had to go down and speak to him at the police officer station. So we got in the red VW microbus with the shovels and rakes and implements of destruction and headed on toward the police officer station. Now, friends, there was only one or two things that Obie could have done at the police station, and the first was he could have given us a medal for being so brave and honest on the telephone, which wasn't very likely. We didn't expect it. And the other thing was that he could have bawled us out and told us never to be seen driving garbage around the vicinity again, which is what we expected. But when we got to the police officer's station, there was a third possibility that we hadn't even counted upon, and we was both immediately arrested, handcuffed. And I said, "Obie, I don't think I can pick up the garbage with these handcuffs on." He said, "Shut up, kid. Get in the back of the patrol car." And that's what we did. We sat in the back of the patrol car and we drove to the, quote, "scene of the crime," unquote. Now, I want to tell you about the town of Stockbridge, Massachusetts, where this happened here. They got 3 stop signs, 2 police officers and 1 police car, but when we got to the scene of the crime, there was 5 police officers and 3 police cars, being the biggest crime of the last 50 years, and everybody wanted to get in the newspaper story about it. And they was using up all kinds of cop equipment that they had hanging around the police officer station. They was taking plaster, tire tracks, footprints, dog smell imprints. They took 27 8x10 color glossy photographs with circles and arrows and a paragraph on the back of each one, explaining what each one was to be used as evidence against us. Took pictures of the approach, the getaway, the northwest corner, the southwest corner. That's not to mention the aerial drone photography. Right after the ordeal, we went back to the jail. Obie said he was going to put us in the cell. I said, "Kid, I'm going to put you in the cell. I want your wallet and your belt." And I said, "Obie, I can understand you wanting my wallet, so I don't have any money to spend in the cell. What do you want my belt for?" And he said, "Kid, we don't want any hangings." I said, "Obie, did you think I was going to hang myself for littering?" Obie said he was making sure, and friends, Obie was, because he took out the toilet seat so I couldn't hit myself over the head and drown. He took out the toilet paper so I couldn't bend the bars, roll the toilet paper out the window, slide down the roll, and have an escape. And we was making sure, and it was about 4 or 5 hours later that Alice, remember Alice? There's a song about Alice. Alice came by, and with a few nasty words to Obie on the side, bailed us out of jail, and we went back to the church, had another Thanksgiving dinner that couldn't be beat, and we didn't get up until the next morning when we all had to go to court. We walked in, sat down. Obie came in with the 27 8x10 color glossy pictures with circles and arrows and a paragraph on the back of each one, sat down. Man came in, said, "All rise." We all stood up, and Obie stood up with 27 8x10 color glossy pictures, and the judge walked in, sat down with a CNI dog. He sat down. We sat down. Obie looked at the seeing eye dog. And then at the 27 8x10 color glossy pictures with the circles and arrows and a paragraph on the back of each one, and looked at the seeing eye dog. And then at the 27 8x10 color glossy pictures with the circles and arrows on the back of paragraph on the back of each one, and began to cry because Obi came to the realization that it was a typical case of American blind justice and there wasn't nothing he could do about it. And the judge wasn't going to look at the 27 8x10 color glossy pictures with the circles and arrows and a paragraph on the back of each one explaining what each one was to be used as evidence against us. He was fined $50 and had to pick up the garbage in the snow. But that's not what I came to tell you about. Came to talk about the draft. See, they got a building down in New York City. It's called Whitehall Street, where you walk in, you get injected, inspected, detected, infected, neglected, and selected. Well, I went down to get my physical examination one day, and I walked in, I sat down, I got good and drunk the night before, so I looked and felt my best when I went in that morning, because I wanted to look like the all-American kid from New York City. Man, I wanted to feel like I wanted to be the all-American kid from New York. And I walked in, sat down, I was hung down, brung down, hung up, and all kinds of mean, nasty, ugly things. And I walked in, I sat down, and they gave me a piece of paper and said, "Kid, see the psychiatrist, room 604. And I went up there, I said, "Shrink, I want to kill. I want to kill. I want to see blood and gore and guts and veins in my teeth. Eat dead, burnt bodies. Kill. And I started jumping up and down, yelling, "Kill, kill." And he started jumping up and down with me. We was both jumping up and down, yelling, "Kill, kill." And the sergeant came over, pinned a medal on me, sent me down the hall, said, "You're our boy." I didn't feel too good about it. I proceeded on down the hall, getting more injections, inspections, detections, neglections, and all kinds of stuff that they was doing to me at the thing there. And I was there 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. I was there for a long time, going through all kinds of mean, nasty, ugly things, and I was just having a tough time there. And then they was inspecting, injecting every single part of me, and they was leaving no part untouched. Proceeded through when I finally came to see the very last man. I walked in, sat down after the whole big thing there. I walked up and I said, "What do you want?" He said, "Kid, we only got one more question. Have you ever been arrested?" And I proceeded to tell him the story of the Alice's Restaurant Massacree with the full orchestration and the 5-part harmony and stuff like that, and all the phenomena. He stopped me right there and he said, "Kid, did you ever go to court?" And I proceeded to tell him the story of the 27 8x10 color glossy pictures with the circles and arrows and the paragraph on the back of each one. He stopped me right there and said, "Kid, I want you to go sit down on that bench that says Group W. Now, kid." And I walked over to the bench there, and it's Group W is where they put you if you may not be moral enough to join the army after committing your special crime. And there was all kinds of mean, nasty, ugly-looking people on the bench there, and there's news reporters, porch pirates, loud cell phone talkers sitting right on there on the bench next to me, and one there was the mean and nasty and ugly and horrible crime type guy sitting there on the bench, and the meanest, ugliest, nastiest one, the loudest cell phone talker of them all, was coming over to me, and he was mean and ugly and nasty and horrible and all kinds of things. And he sat down next to me and he said, "Kid, what'd you get?" I said, "I didn't get nothing. I had to pay $50 and pick up the garbage." He said, "What were you arrested for, kid?" And I said, littering. And they all moved away from me on the bench there, hairy eyeball and all kinds of mean, nasty things, till I said, and creating a nuisance. And they all came back and shook my hand. We had a great time on the bench talking about crime, porch, pirating, cell phone, yelling, all kinds of groovy things that we was talking about on the bench, and everything was fine. We were smoking cigarettes and all kinds of things until the sergeant came over. Had some paper in his hand. He held it up and said, kids, this piece of paper's got 47 words, 37 sentences, 58 words. We want to know the details of the crime, time of the crime, any other kind of thing you got to say pertaining to and about the crime. I want to know the arresting officer's name, any other kind of thing you got to say. And he talked on for about 45 minutes, and nobody understood a word that he said. But we had fun filling out the forms and playing with the pencils on the bench there. I filled out the MASSACREE with the 4-part harmony and wrote it down there just like it was, and everything was fine. And I put down a pencil and I turned over the piece of paper, and there on the other side, in the middle of the other side, away from everything else on the other side, in parentheses, capital letters, quoted, read the following words. Kid, have you rehabilitated yourself? I went over to the sergeant and said, Sergeant, you got a lot of damn gall to ask me if I have rehabilitated myself. I mean that just, I'm sitting here on the bench. I'm sitting here on the Group W bench because you want to know if I'm moral enough to join the army, burn women, kids, and houses and villages after being a litterbug. He looked at me and said, Kid, we don't like your kind, and we're going to send your fingerprints off to Washington. And friends, somewhere in Washington, enshrined in some little folder, is a study in black and white of my fingerprints. And the only reason I'm singing you this song now is because you may know somebody in a similar situation. Or you may be in a similar situation, and if you're in a situation like that, there's only one thing you can do, and that's walk into the shrink, wherever you are. Just walk in and say, shrink. You can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant, and walk out. You know, if one person, just one person does it, they may think he's really sick and they won't take him. And if two people do it in harmony, they may think they're both faggots and won't take either of you. And if there's 3 people do it, 3. Can you imagine 3 people walking in, singing a bar of Alice's restaurant, and walking out? They may think it's an organization. And can you imagine 50 people a day? I said 50 people a day walking in, singing a bar of Alice's restaurant, and walking out. And friends, they may think it's a movement. And that's what it is. The Alice's Restaurant Anti-Massacree Movement. And all you got to do to join is to sing it the next time it comes around on the guitar with feeling. So we'll wait for it to come around on the guitar here and sing it when it does. Here it comes. You can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant. You can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant. Walk right in, it's around the back, just a half a mile from the railroad track. You can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant. Oh, that was horrible. If you want to end war and stuff, you got to sing loud. You can't put it loud. I've been singing this song now for 25 minutes, and I could sing it for another 25 minutes. I'm not proud or tired, so we'll wait till it comes around again, and this time with 4-part harmony and feeling. We're just waiting for it to come around. That's what we're doing. All right now. You can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant, except Alice. You can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant. I said walk right in, it's around the back, just a half a mile from the railroad track. You can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant, da-da-da-da-da-da-dum, at Alice's restaurant. All right, thanks for tolerating all that, guys, and happy Thanksgiving. We have in Kitely here at 10:30, Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade coming up. Happy Thanksgiving, my friends. I'll let you scoot off, and we'll catch up with you next year. I hope you have a fabulous year. Thank you for being here. Thank you for making us a part of your adventures this year. What, there's no drones in 1967? You need to listen to some more Coast to Coast AM radio. Oh, yeah, don't forget to check out the website if you want to read about Alice Brock, see more about this amazing woman. Happy Thanksgiving, and praise the Lord for each and every one of you. You are loved.